Learn how to choose the proper sleeping bag for your next camping or backpacking trip.
If you're going to go camping, you're going to need a sleeping bag. The first step of choosing a sleeping bag is going to be deciding what kind of camping am I going to be doing with this sleeping bag. Am I always going to be car camping, meaning my campsite is going to be within a few yards of my vehicle, or am I going to be backpacking? If I'm going to be backpacking, I need to make sure my sleeping bag packs down to a very small and lightweight size, as well as still being warm enough for me to survive and hopefully be comfortable while camping in the outdoors. If I'm car camping, I don't need necessarily as warm of a sleeping bag because I can bring extra blankets with me to augment my sleeping bag. When you look at sleeping bags, they will always come with a temperature rating. They may have a comfort rating and a survival rating. If they only have one rating, assume that to be the survival rating. The survival rating means the lowest temperature this sleeping bag will keep you alive at. It does not mean you will feel warm. It just means it's the lowest temperature the sleeping bag was designed to keep you from freezing to death. I think the biggest mistake people make when choosing a sleeping bag is they see that number and they think it means a comfort rating. It's also important to understand that sleeping bag ratings are designed to work in conjunction with the complete sleeping system. The temperature rating is not designed for you just to climb in your sleeping bag without being properly prepared. The sleeping system it's designed for starts with your sleeping pad. It assumes you have a properly insulated sleeping pad. Whether that's closed foam or inflated, doesn't matter. Just as long as it's properly insulated for the temperatures you're going to be sleeping in. Next, it assumes you're going to be in a tent. It's important to protect you from wind and rain when we're out camping. Third, the temperature rating assumes you're also dressed properly. Dressing properly means socks, thermal underwear, long sleeve top, and a toboggan or hat. If you have all three of these properly aligned, that is the best way to judge the temperature rating. Make sure your sleeping bag is rated for 10 degrees colder than you expect to camp in. If your temperature rating says 0 and you live in the United States, double check to make sure that's 0 Fahrenheit and not 0 Celsius, because 0 Celsius is 32 degrees Fahrenheit. All right, now we've covered temperature ratings. Let's look at shapes. Sleeping bags come in two primary shapes: mummy sleeping bags and rectangle sleeping bags. Mummy bags will be warmer. They will form a cocoon around you, but many people find them constricting, particularly if they're side sleepers. And that's why they prefer rectangle sleeping bags. If you're going to sleep in a rectangle sleeping bag, make sure you have a quality ski mask with proper neck coverage when you're sleeping so that your head and neck stay warm in cold temperatures. Finally, think about the material the sleeping bag is made from. If you're backpacking, you're going to want to look for down sleeping bags. They will pack small and lightweight compared to synthetic. Unfortunately for down, it is more expensive and you might be allergic to it and it loses all of its warmth if it gets wet. Synthetic sleeping bags tend to be cheaper, but they sometimes don't pack down very small and can take up half the room of your car if you're not careful when you're packing them up.